Another sunny day, and I'm in Portland, and this is Darcy from eGardenGo, and I'm going to walk you through some changes that I'm contemplating for today because I went out and it's nursery hopping season, and I always find something that I'm excited about and want to try. And so that means oftentimes that I have to come home and I got to figure out where the heck I'm going to put something. So this front yard slope is one of my sunniest places, and one of the places that I'm kind of working on evergreen structure. But it's also just one of the places I see most frequently. I like to have fun, and my garden is in a constant state of evolution. So let me tell you what I picked up for this front slope today and the changes that I'm going to make. Driving the whole project is this dwarf Phormium that is a new to me variety called Petite Indigo Ruby New Zealand Flax. But it's not like a lot of them that we are accustomed to seeing and the ones that I've grown in this front bed in the past. Like, I've had Phormium out here before. I had an enormous Phormium tricolor here for many years, but it became just really big. And so for that reason, I took it out because it literally occupied this whole area through here, and looked great, but one winter it got super damaged, and I decided not to wait for it to recover and to reclaim that space back. So for this Phormium, I get some of the some of the things that I like about Phormiums with this one. I get that foliage texture, which is kind of strappy. I get a nice color, very pinky variegation, very pretty. Texture is much finer, almost reading like a grass. So I think that it will look beautiful in here. Certainly for this summer, it's going to be great. Sometimes in the winter, Phormiums here in Portland, which we are, I'm a zone 8B bordering on 9A, and Phormiums and New Zealand Flaxes, depending upon the winter, can take quite a beating. And so that's the hazard for this plant in my garden. But since I'm okay experimenting and taking a few risks, I will plant it anyways. But if you really struggle with, sometimes if you have a hard time letting go of plants when they get winter damaged, maybe wait and see how I do on this one before you add it to your Portland garden. But anyways, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to look fantastic this summer. This is a tried and true, a standby, and I'm just adding another one to my garden just to round out. I'll show you. It's a plant that I kind of repeat, and it's Miner's Merlot Euphorbia. And I've had really good luck with it. Love the color and the size of it. And I've got it in, down the garden that direction. I've got some in the parking strip over here. And I've got some behind me through this garden as well. So it's one of those plants that is small enough and strong enough in its performance to plant multiple of them. It's kind of a perfect plant in that respect, that you can get all the benefits of repetition and the cohesiveness that brings to your garden without giving up a really big footprint. So let me put these into position, kind of roughly where they're going to go, and then I will talk with you about what has to come out. Because in my garden, because it's so densely planted, if somebody new comes home, the dilemma is where to plant it, and do I have to remove anything? So I do have to remove some stuff. Hard to see it, but I do have 2 barberries in there. Barberries that are very dwarf, very slow growing, so an excellent match for me in terms of small garden. And I really like their foliage color, but they're not evergreen. So they are not even visible to you right now. They're deciduous shrubs, very small, very compact. I believe these are Concord, which is an exceptionally dwarf variety. And I have one here and I have one back here. And you can see they don't contribute really at all to my wintertime scene. Contrast that with these guys. And even in winter, they're going to provide some color story and structure. So I'm excited about the change. Okay, that was pretty easy. They came out pretty easy. It's a great time of the year to dig because our soils are pretty soft. And also mine are not too wet. In some parts of the city, if you have exceptionally clay soil, it might not be in a condition where you can actually dig it right now. Me, with my exceptionally fast draining soil, it was easy peasy to get those guys out of there. So I've got these 2 spots all prepared for the next best thing. Whew. Hopefully I don't have too much mud on my face, but I have those 2 in. Very happy with the changes. And I will put a photo of what this bed looks like in high summer. And obviously it's going to look differently this summer than it did last. But what you're not seeing here is, let's see, there's going to be some echinacea in through here. We've got sedum blue pearl, very important part of it, against gray ferny foliage of the Artemisia seafoam, so which is this guy. Just cut him back. There's the sedum blue pearl. I did poke a few of these variegated iris that I grow in different parts of the garden. Poked a few of them in here to, just because I have so many, and to kind of link those 2 beds together. And they are very easy to kind of plug in where you need them, take them out if they're not right, and they'll provide kind of another strappy upright foliage interest that goes, we have this summer, the early season flowers, but then the foliage looks pretty darn good for a long time as well. This is an evergreen anchor. That's a Santolina, probably Santolina. I think it's lemon gem or some sort of ericoides, but there are a number that would do. It's like there's a Santolina with fine gray foliage. This one's a little bit more green. Pretty vigorous plant and has yellow button-like flowers in summer. Got a purple penstemon, a nice frothy grass, which I have not cut back yet. There's a rose, mimulus. Anyways, all sorts of things in here. And anchored on the corner with, I guess, a hesperaloe. And, of course, the agave. Anyways, there's a lot of plants in there. Now, the minute you take something out, then we have the next and almost the bigger job is figuring out where the heck to put the plants if they come out of the ground viable, like you didn't have to butcher them up too much to get them out, and that they're good plants, because they were. I'm just looking to make a change. But luckily, I have a relatively new garden down on this end that I'm working with my neighbors on, so I was able to find pretty good spot for them, and I moved them in here. And it's right down there at the base of the shovel is one of them. So that'll be burgundy foliage, again, next to a gray foliage, which is a favorite. That burgundy and gray is very nice. It's at the base of a rose, which you can't see, and lots of other stuff, which we've looked at this bed at different times. But I put one over there, and I put one here. So I'm kind of repeating that element of, dots of burgundy throughout the gardens that will provide a repetition in the color theme. And they are all relatively small plants, so they won't overwhelm the space anytime soon. So you can almost, if you just sit here and look a little bit, you can kind of see repetition of purple with the Euphorbia miner's Merlot. And that's an all-season plant that looks exceptionally good this year because we've had such a mild winter. A lot of times they don't look nearly as fresh as they do right now, but they still contribute that color. So we've got Euphorbia minus Merlot, and then still deciduous is a lot of dots of red barberry through there. And there you go. That is what I did today. And I'm whooped. I think that's probably enough change for out here today. Hope you enjoyed the walkthrough, and I'll see you next time.